What is your name and what languages do you teach Nigel?
I teaching Nigel Chinese, Mandarin Chinese.
Where are you from?
I'm from Beijing, China, and about almost 23 years ago.
Here.
What other languages do you speak or are conversational in?
Besides Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, of course, I speak English. I learned English since I was 14 years old, actually in the middle school. And I wasn't good at that because I don't like it. So not until I come to the U.S. and first year actually I was in a language school full-time studying English. Then later my English built up actually is when I started working in the laboratory doing the molecular biology research. Then I build up my English. All the students or PhD around me are just English speakers, so that's why. And the most good my English really improved when I started school again.
Mommy,
And I got another 2 degree from Indiana University. So that time my English is getting really better.
What other countries have you lived in outside of the States and China? Any?
Just the U.S. and China. That's it so far.
Do you teach full time now?
Currently, pretty much. Hi, Nigel. So, before actually, I was doing 2 career. One is doing the screen acting, doing the shooting the commercials or feature film. I tried, but it just gets small role. And later, besides that, I was teaching Chinese of course since 2005. But later now I'm more and more toward this make more teaching. So basically now pretty much like I'm teaching.
You have a PhD, right?
I was on the PhD program in molecular biology research. I didn't complete. Then I was switched my major to the business computing and also computer science. I got a degree from that, and later I got a 3rd degree, it's a theater drama, doing acting.
Yeah.
That's why we're in the LA area to pursue the Hollywood.
Yeah.
But the things I have some obstacles, so I wasn't a really big success.
What do you play any instruments? What instruments do you play?
When I was child, actually, I learned 4 years the violin, and later because I have to prepare for the higher education, qualify the exam that in China is very hard. So that's why my mom want me to stop, and I learned some of the piano as well. I really love to play the piano well when I have time. Yes.
And sometimes I hear you singing with Nigel. You have a voice as well to sing.
That's about singing. Actually, I sing all of my life. Since I was like 5 years old, I think I started singing picking upper. And later, about a teenager, I want to widen my voice because my voice is too high pitch. So then I start using the popular song to sing more like a chest voice and make my voice wider. And really improved my voice actually when I was in the Indiana University. I was private study vocal, the voice for 6 years. So that later then.
How long have you been teaching Nigel, and how do you know that he understands you?
I have been teaching Nigel for about a year, and the first day actually, first lesson when I will say something, it's a little things. I said it's dirty. Don't put it in your mouth. Actually, everything in the Chinese, but he understand, and he just run away to take a little things. Actually, want to throw away. Actually, it's a little toy, and he want to throw away to the trash can. And I do. So I understand what I said is dirty means is in Chinese 脏脏, it's dirty, and he understands. So that's why he even throw away the toy. So that's the first lesson. And now he understands a lot. And so later I would just try to talk to him 100% in Chinese. I think he understands perfectly. I think maybe 100% because he followed my direction so well. That's why I can know he understands.
What do you think is Nigel's biggest strength?
The first, my big impression is that he done a lot of thinking, and you can tell from children's eyes, through the facial expression, you can tell he's follow you, and whenever you give some new concept to him, he just stare on me and done in the thinking. So that's why I find that he has much thinking done a lot, and he's certainly about 2 years old, the boy with all the full energy, and he has a certain attention whenever he plays something or give me attention, play the flashcard or read a book, at least for a while he can give you attention. The most things, the impression with him. 等一等，宝宝，等一等啊，乖宝宝，等一等。I think his brain development is much forward than his age. 宝宝，你要做什么？先等一下，妈妈就完了啊，乖乖宝宝，就完了啊，不，一会儿就好了，一会儿就好了啊，一会儿就好了啊。然后呢，that's my big impression. I think the mom, you, and gave him all the trainings since he was the baby. 宝宝，稍等一下，稍等一下，你到妈妈那边去，来玩胶泥。你看胶泥，宝宝，胶泥。No more. no more， 马上就好，宝宝，马上就好啊，乖宝宝，马上就好。你看，妈妈给你胶泥。你那个小胶人儿。I think since the mom and really gave him the development all kind of languages and also doing very interesting the activity with him. So I think the brain is much fully developed, also much further than his age. That's my big impression.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What is your name and what language do you teach Nigel?
I'm Claudia and I teach Nigel Spanish.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Mexico.
And how long were you in your native country before coming here?
I lived in Mexico for 7 years and I moved to the US when I was like 7.5.
How did you learn English?
I learned English in school. I was placed in a bilingual class, and from there on, in 4th grade, I was forced to be in a pure English class, so I was like forced to use the language more than I usually did.
What other languages do you speak or understand conversationally?
I speak English, Spanish, and understand conversationally French.
Awesome. Do you play any instruments or any sports that you love or interest as far as arts?
Unfortunately, I don't play any instruments. I like to swim, as that's kind of my hobby. And for arts, I like to take pictures of like random things.
Oh, are you in school?
Yes, I teach Nigel. Teaching is my part-time job, and I'm going to college right now, and I'm studying political science.
What school are you going to?
I'm going to UCLA.
Awesome. And so how long have you been with Nigel?
I've only been with him for 3 months, and it feels like I've been with him longer than that.
How do you know that he understands you?
I speak to him in long phrases as if I was speaking to him, as if I was speaking to an adult. And even though he replies in English, he replies with the correct response.
What about Nigel do you feel is his biggest strength?
I think Nigel incorporates everyone who's around him. So if there's two little boys playing with him and I'm also playing with him, he'll find a way to talk to us and acknowledge that we're there. And I think that's one of the reasons why he understands Spanish like really clearly. Really well.
Okay. What is your name and what language do you teach Nigel?
My name is Silvia. I teach Italian.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Italy,
And how long did you live in your native country?
and I've lived in Italy for 22 years.
What part of Italy?
Milano. Milano.
What other languages do you speak or understand conversationally?
I speak English, Spanish, German, and I understand French.
Do you play any instruments or have any hobbies musically or
I play
sports-wise?
guitar, ukulele, and piano.
Do you how did you learn English?
At school, but mainly listening to people and just like learning from friends and people around here. I just was not around Italians when I was here.
What have you ever lived in any other countries or do you like traveling?
Yes, I've lived in Costa Rica for as an exchange student in high school, and I lived in Germany for a total of 6 months.
Do you teach full time or do you have other students that are young and what other things do you do?
I don't
full-time?
teach full time. I have many students. I have Nigel, I have Remy, Luca, Ario. I used to have adults and other kids. But now I work at the Walton Theater full time, and I'm the house manager there.
How long have you been teaching Nigel roughly?
Nigel, over a year? Over a
Yeah.
year.
How do you know that he understands you?
Because he responds to what I tell him to do, or he responds. Like I can tell he's understanding. If I say mela, he knows it's an apple. If I say, I don't know, let's go, he knows we're going.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you have to lower what you say or do you talk to him just naturally in
No,
Italian?
naturally, yeah.
What about Nigel do you think is his biggest strength?
He's quick. He's quick at understanding everything, and he's very how do you say, outgoing, and he observes everything and he catches all the similarities between things. So if we see a foglia, a leaf here, and then we're walking around half an hour later, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, the leaf that you were telling me about." Yes. Nigel.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
So-
you.
What is your name and what language do you teach Nigel?
My name is Shedley, and I am fortunate to be helping Nigel in acquiring a fantastic language, and it's a fascinating language, Arabic.
Where are you from originally and how long were you
I-
in your native country?
Yes, from Tunisia, tiny country on the Mediterranean, probably the size of New Jersey, I would say, and very interesting location, open to languages. I mean, 1 hour you take the boat and you are in Italy. A couple of hours you are in France or in Spain, or and you got Egypt is not far away, so Greece. It's a very interesting neighborhood.
What other languages do you speak and also conversational in?
I was fortunate when I was in Tunisia. The educational system, everyone has to be bilingual. So when you start school in Tunisia, everyone will study both Arabic and French. And French is really a fantastic, opened such new vistas for me, because it's Latin, because of its Latin origin. It opened the door to Spanish, to Italian, particularly those two languages. Of course, it can open more. It can open Portuguese. It can open the door for the other languages, the Romanian. They have a Latin language. So that's one of the benefits of having English. And Of course, the advantage of having French, English also has like 80% French. So it's a very powerful language. So it opened the door to English, it opened the door to Spanish, in Italian. So when you have those languages,
And you speak all of those,
yes.
as
Now-
well as,
Now, of course, as you know, practice makes perfect. When you don't use the language, you become rusty. So therefore, probably if I want to bring back, because when I was in Tunisia, I can watch TV in Italian, I can hear the news, I can go there maybe for a weekend. It's so
sounds
close.
like a place I need to move to at Niger for a year.
Oh my
at
God! I
least.
mean, it's you are there.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with those languages. Yeah.
Do you speak any other or understand any other languages?
Yes. Now Arabic has the advantage of giving you the key to Hebrew. One language is fascinating, Kai, because one language opened the door to another one, and the other one will open the door to another one.
Yeah.
So now Spanish, for instance, 40% of it is Arabic. So when you have French and when you have Arabic, you are right there in Spanish, because 40% already, and then the French gave you a good chunk of Latin that you can cruise on in Spanish. Italian, mostly Latin, so French will open the door. So that's one. And then I said I need to really explore the Asian languages. And I said, which door is gonna be really a powerful door? So I decided to go for Korean. Korean is 80% Chinese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like English. And so when you learn Korean, you are literally learning 80% of Chinese and then 80% of Japanese. Because Japanese has 80% of Chinese. So one kind of gives you a good chunk of both of them.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you play any instruments?
Yes, I love music, and of course the violin is a fantastic instrument. It's fascinating. By the way, Einstein plays the violin. Yes, and he loves it, and he loves the violin. So just to let you know how the violin is not only close to anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you play any other instruments besides the violin?
I play the lute. The lute, it's like the mandolin. It's like mandolin, a little bigger, and that's the one too I play.
Have you played the piano?
I know the system. I know how the piano works, but I wish I had more time. It's a fascinating instrument.
How did you learn English?
In Tunisia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What other countries have you lived in? Any others besides?
Yeah, I lived in France almost 2 years because of the French language. So when I went there, I just felt at home. And this is the secret, Kai. When you learn a language and you go to the country, you feel you live there forever. So when I went first to France, basically that's the feeling I had. I said, my God, it looks like this is a place that I lived here forever. So I did some schooling in there. I got scholarship. I went there, and almost 2 years.
What do you do teaching full time now, or do you?
Well, I used to teach full time, but now I'm working on a book. Few projects that I need to work on. So I'm taking a breather from teaching.
How long have you been teaching Nigel, roughly?
Well, it looks like we have closed the year, almost, and I'm really satisfied with the progress that we have achieved. I mean, I can assure you that the change is really big.
How do you know that he understands you?
When you look at the person, you know that person is not lost, because when you say something and you look at the person, you will know that person is really with you or lost.
What do you think is Nigel's biggest strength?
He is fortunate, thank God. You know, he has many strong points. He's smart, a presence of mind. I can give you so many examples. And one that fascinates me, curiosity. I think the sense of wonder that he has, for me, that's a treasure. Because this is how you make your world. If you have that sense of wonder and you look at things and everything kind of get your attention, then you are there. You are aware of where you are.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
My name is Alan, and I teach French to Nigel
Where are you from originally?
from Paris, in France.
How long did you live there before you moved?
My whole life, which is 23 years old. 23 years.
Do you speak any other languages, or are you conversational in any other languages besides French and English?
I used to be in German, but I think I forgot most of it.
Have you ever lived or stayed in another country besides U.S. and
Not really lived,
France?
but I've been traveling to a lot of different countries.
Do you play any instruments or any sports that you're into?
I play the guitar, the drums, the bass, the piano, and pretty much anything with strings. But not really into sports.
Do you teach full time, or are you a student? If you're a student, what are you going to school for?
I'm a student, but I teach most of the time. So I go to school for communication studies, and I have to be honest, it's kind of a way so I could be here because I just loved it. I came here for 3 times. I came here on vacations, and I just loved it. And I wanted to find a way to be able to stay here for 2 years, because that's what kind of visa I have right now. And I just like to find a way to stay for a longer time if I can find a job at a school or something like that.
What school are you going to?
UCLA.
How long have you been teaching Nigel roughly? And how do you know that he understands you?
I think it's been...
Very lucky. Okay. How long have you been teaching Nigel, and how do you know that he understands you?
So I think it's been a little more than 6 months, maybe around 6 months, and I think he understands. There's many ways that I can tell, just by sometimes he responds in English. Well, he used to say yeah or here, things like that, and now he's just like, okay, well, you can see that he gets it, and he's like, yeah, and it's hard to explain. We just, like, it's what he does, like, considering what I'm saying, it's just logical, kind of, and that's the way I get now, that he understands most of what I'm saying. And when it's a new thing, he seems to be kind of like, oh yeah, and then maybe he thinks about it, and he's just asking for many different things and kind of curious and wondering how, and maybe I'm just waiting for the moment he's gonna be asking for things and be curious and be how do you say that, or things like that. But we've covered a lot of different things over the time. In only 6 months, it's already been a lot, so.
What do you think is Nigel's biggest strength?
Biggest strength. It's interesting. I think it's his ability to learn, and I think it's just, and he's fascinated about everything, and he has like a thirst to learn, I think, and it's amazing. He's the only kid like that I've had the chance of teaching, if we can say teach, because it's really different. But yeah, he's one of a kind, and I'm really curious to see where it's gonna take him.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What is your name and what language do you teach Nigel?
My name is Sokna and I'm teaching French to Nigel.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from France, Paris.
How
I
long
was born and raised in Paris.
have you ever lived in any other countries or traveled?
I went to England, Holland, Senegal, Italy, and United States.
Do you speak any other languages or conversationally or have any other connections?
I can speak Wolof. It's a West African language, and I can read Arabic. I learned to read Arabic when I was little, and that's it.
Do you play any instruments or sports or anything?
No, I don't play sport, but I like fashion, and fashion is my sport.
How did you learn English?
I began to learn English when I was in elementary school, at school, and
Do you teach full time? If not, like, are you a student?
no, I'm a student, so I'm teaching Nigel part time.
What are you going to school for?
I'm going to school. I'm studying business, and like I want to be like a CEO or something like that.
How do you know that he understands you?
He's very responding. Like every time I talk to him, I say to him like, "Bring me this," or like, "Can you draw this?" And like he give me all I'm asking for him, and he recognized things when I told him where is it.
So I'll say it again. How long have you been teaching Nigel roughly?
I'm teaching Nigel since February 2011.
And do you feel that you have to change the way you speak for him, or do you talk fluently, naturally, the way you would with anyone with French?
Yeah, no, I don't do like particular things with him. I talk with him like I'm talking to a friend, and like he understands everything I say. So it's amazing.
What do you think? What do you think about Nigel as his biggest strengths?
I think Nigel is a very smart guy. Like it's very like he likes to be with people. He's very friendly and he's happy all the time, and that's very good. He like to learn some new things. Like I don't know.
Thank you so much.
Okay.